Hey there everybody, it's markcrilley. I'm back with another video. This is number 10 in my ongoing series of what I call topic videos. Videos where I discuss a topic, have a kind of virtual conversation with my YouTube viewers. Earlier this week I posted a short video in which I invited people to respond to a fairly straightforward question. What do you do when you hate your own drawing? And I said that you could look at this two different ways. You could sort of read it literally. What do you do if you're working on a drawing and you hate it? What do you do physically with that drawing? How do you react to that? But the other way of interpreting it is, what do you do when you feel that you hate your way of drawing in general, when you feel highly dissatisfied with your own drawing abilities? And we're going to be looking at comments that refer to both of those questions, but I want to begin with two different comments that sort of put us in the frame of mind of someone who has really kind of hit the wall in terms of their drawing ability. I wanted to make sure that we understood that frustration and the real problem that I'm hoping to get some advice, together with this video to put forth to people who are in such a situation. This comment comes from Joresh. Hope I'm pronouncing that right. I'm at that point right now. All my work feels like trash. I get good ideas, but my hands can't make it happen. My expectation versus reality is way off. My knowledge is larger than my skill. Indeed, that sums it up real well. And I gotta say, I normally see comments like this periodically from people who are basically saying, that's it, I give up. I'm no good. My drawing is terrible. I try my best, but I can't seem to do any good drawings, And in a way, that was what inspired this topic for me, was seeing comments like that. Now, perhaps predictably, when you when you request people to respond to that state of mind, you tend to get a lot of people who are trying to give advice, and you don't hear from so many people who are simply commiserating. But I did want to make sure that we had at least a couple of such comments. This one from Sally Rose also puts it out there. I'm very frustrated as an artist, not only now, but over the last few years. I'm active on DeviantArt, and there I'm getting little to no attention. I know that site is so big and there are so many artists, but still it frustrates me. This last part about, getting attention on the internet may be a separate issue, but certainly this first part, over the last years, she says, she's been feeling this frustration. And again, that's really the kind of problem that I want us to be confronting in this video. And as I said, most people were kind of offering some sort of advice for dealing with that. And, it's a great thing, and that's what I hope people will come away from this video with a little bit of a benefit from seeing such advice. So let's go ahead and get into it. But first I should maybe say what it is that I'm working on here. I like to give people something to look at when I do videos like this, so that I'm not just talking and there's a blank page. I always like to have a drawing to work on, and so today I'm kind of practicing a type of a drawing, a blend between realism and manga drawing styles. People have seen me do this kind of thing periodically, and I'm doing it again today. Let's go ahead and get into the first comment of this video from MLP Diamond Swirl. What I do when I've lost all hope in my ability to improve is take a break. However long it may be, every artist needs a break at times. And this is representative of a number of comments that I saw that said a similar thing. Sometimes you just need to take a break. And I think that can be a good way of dealing with it. Sometimes you're just like a little too close to it, and repeated effort of working at a problem just seems to make it worse for you. Taking a break, getting away from it, doing something else certainly can seem to help. Certainly it may seem a little strange, and different people have different philosophies on this. It's like, well, you can't solve a problem by running away from it. You should keep working at it. Don't give up. And I think, every person has their own solution to these situations. For some people, it is best to just keep hammering away at it. But indeed, for many people, it seems, taking a break Just getting away from it, taking a breather from drawing, and then coming back when you've freshened up a bit. Certainly it seems to help for some people. Let's move on to number 2. Love this name, Pancake Lord. You got to listen when Pancake Lord speaks. As artists, we're all going to hate our work every once in a while, and hey, that's okay. But one thing you don't want to do is ball it up and quit. So I thought that was interesting, especially like this idea that we will all, as artists, we will all feel this way sometimes, and I really do think that's true. In a way, if you feel that everything you do is fantastic and you never are dissatisfied, I don't know, you sounds a little delusional to me. It seems almost natural for every artist to run up against the limits of their own abilities and to feel frustration with that. We're only human, right? So it's helpful to just at least point that out. But then the other thing here is, as I said, sort of kind of almost the opposite, urging you not to quit. Don't ball it up, don't throw it away, don't give up. And yeah, taking a break is not the same as giving up. So it's not really opposite advice there, but I liked, as I said, that first part saying every artist, and you can't see into the heart of a fellow artist. It may seem as if they're just leaping from triumph to triumph, and you're sitting here frustrated with your abilities. You can't see into their heart and know that that artist also is maybe frustrated with their abilities, or certainly has been at certain points. So keep that in mind. You are keenly aware of your own limitations. Other people, from a distance, look as if they have no limitations, and that is not the case. We're all struggling with this stuff. Here, number 3 from Cameron Larson. I usually make it worse. If I hate a drawing, I will purposely screw up the rest of it, making it ugly and turning it into a joke. Interesting, right? Sort of an interesting, like, giving into the anarchy, the chaos of creation, and who knows, maybe that could be a good way of coping with it. We're going to get to this later on, this question of do you destroy the drawing that you don't like, or do you hold on to it? You're definitely going to hear both sides of that in the comments ahead, but I did like the idea of deliberately. It could be sort of cathartic, right, to deliberately screw up a drawing. I suppose I've done it every now and then, and I thought it was worth getting it into the video as a legitimate way of dealing with these things. Here we go with XK. I found that when I come to hate my work, be it a drawing, song, video, or whatever, it's because throughout the process of making it, I've strayed from the original intent of the work. Very interesting, very mature sounding to me that, you had this original idea, and somewhere along the way you strayed from that idea, and that has caused it to not work out. Quite sophisticated, really, and I think, you hear about that across a range of creative pursuits, like a filmmaker or a musician saying, this one kind of got away from me. I had this original idea that was a great idea, and somewhere along the way I lost track of that original idea, and I found myself, I was no longer making the movie that I wanted to make. Yeah, that can certainly be part of the problem. And you go back and you say, hey, wait a minute, this was supposed to be a drawing about this other thing, and I lost track of that, and if I can get back to that core idea, then I might be able to save this drawing. I thought that was interesting. Again, as I said, very sort of sophisticated way of analyzing the problem there. Let us move on now to number 5. This one, very mature, almost sounds like it comes from an art teacher. Barbara Mask, or Maskey, not sure how that's pronounced. I found that the reason artists, especially those who are just beginners, are so hard on themselves is because they set such high expectations for themselves. Sometimes we set goals for ourselves that are too advanced for us. Very good, very wise words there from Barbara. I do think sometimes people are trying to leapfrog to a masterpiece of some kind, and when they find that they can't achieve that, then they interpret that as, oh, I'm no good. But, well, wait a minute, maybe your goal is too difficult. Maybe you've set yourself a task that is beyond your current capabilities, worth considering that you need to scale things back a little. Try something that's not quite so hard. And then work your way towards this more difficult, monumental project that you were working on. I think it is true. Expectations can play a big role, not just in drawing, but in life, right? We always have this thing where you had these great expectations of something, and then when reality comes crashing down on top of you, you get very depressed or disappointed, where if you had somehow not had any expectations at all, you might not have fallen into that sort of mental trap. So worth noting, be cautious about high expectations or huge ambitions when it comes to art. Sometimes you may find that you've bitten off more than you can chew, and that doesn't mean that you're a terrible artist. It just means that you need to sort of be a little more modest in your goals. Shoot for something achievable, and that will help you feel better about your work. Anyway, worth considering that it's maybe not always the problem for everybody all the time, but it could be the source of certain people's problems in certain situations. Let's move on to number 6 from Link057. I keep all my drawings, even the bad ones. Nothing gets thrown out. Whenever I feel I am stuck and not improving, I go back to my old drawings, especially the bad ones, and see what I did wrong, and I make sure I don't repeat the same mistakes again. This was a very, very common type of comment. This idea of holding on to the bad drawings. Nothing gets thrown out. And I saw again and again people saying, I have a file folder of the bad drawings. I keep them. I never tear them up or throw them away. And I was struck by how many people said that. It's very mature. I have a personal memory of a time where I wanted to throw away a drawing, and a sort of fellow artist said, Mark, don't run away from your mistakes. Don't pretend that you don't make mistakes. You should hold on to that. Don't try to create the illusion of perfection by destroying evidence of your failed art. And that really stuck with me. The person said that, and I have to admit, I don't hold on to every single, drawing that I start. If a drawing I start is not working out and seems to be of no value, and I haven't really gone very far with it, I will probably toss it out. I'm not opposed to the idea of throwing something away, and it would be interesting to hear among professional artists how many of them attempt to hold on to every single drawing they've ever made. But I saw that again and again. People using their mistakes as a way of helping them. And so I was very impressed with that, and it's worth considering if you think that it might work for you. Worth trying. I'm trying to think if I ever, held on to drawings that hadn't worked out for me and found that by looking at them months or years later that it helped me to avoid making the mistake a second time. I think you can kind of hear in my tone of voice that it's not my style to hold on to these old drawings too much and to look back at them too much. That's just not the way I work. More often I'm just moving forward into the future, not looking back at the old work so much. And that's just my sort of temperament as an artist, but I can see where that could help you a lot. And sometimes I've looked back and had the opposite. I've looked back at old work and rediscovered good things that I had not done for a while, and it inspires me in that way. Anyway, I'm getting off on a tangent, I think. Let's move on to number 7 here from Maggie Wolf. When I hate my own drawing, I'll usually either attempt to fix it by using photo references, or I'll crumble it up and start over if I feel it's beyond saving. So this has 2 different parts to it, and the second one is the person who doesn't hesitate to crumble it up, throw it away. 2 schools of thought, at least, on that topic. But the first part of it is actually an important thing here. I attempt to fix it by using photo references, and I saw maybe 1 or 2 people mention this, but Maggie is one of the few. That is certainly something that I turn to a lot. to solve problems, especially with like human anatomy. I'm trying to draw someone sitting down in a chair, and I'm like, this just does not look right. Well, photo reference to the rescue. I will turn to the internet and try to find a photo of somebody sitting in a chair, and that helps me to work out those problems. So again, here I am. I've said it in a lot of videos. Nothing wrong with reference, people. Professionals are using it all the time. And certainly it has it proved crucial for me in Brody's Ghost, for example. A lot of the anatomy and different things I couldn't have done just out of my imagination, and if I had tried to, I probably would have been crumbling it up and throwing it on the floor, because that's, let's talk about the limits of your own abilities. For me, anatomy is something that I'm always struggling with. I might be able to draw a face like this of someone just sort of, not moving, and do a decent job of it. But if I try to draw a person in, running or in a fight scene or whatever, I very quickly find that I have limited abilities in that regard, and my characters tend to look very stiff. And so, this is where I become the person who is crashing into the wall of his own limited talents. And I can, I just want to say, guys, I feel the pain. I also wish that I was better than I am. And I do have days where I feel down, but of course, I don't quit. I can't quit. This is how I feed my family. And this is part of my identity as a human being at this stage. Drawing is what I do, and I would never throw down the pencil and stop. But anyway, that's just to let you know, so that I don't become one of these people that you view from a distance who appears to never feel down about his own work. Trust me, that is not the case. Very often, I look at other people's work and say, man, this person is so much better than I am, and how come I can't draw like that? And, I have these same feelings that many of you have. And I just, you just have to, sometimes just make your peace with your own abilities and say, yeah, well, I can't be good at everything. I'm good at some stuff. I'm good enough that it's worth continuing. Right? You don't have to be as good as everyone else on Earth. You don't have to be anything. You just be who you are. Do your best. Anyway, I wanted to respond to that. And again, photo reference, guys. Nothing wrong with it. Let's move on to number 8 here. From Bowery TV or Bowery TV. If you hate your own artwork and feel like you aren't progressing and the keep trying message isn't getting you anywhere, try a different form/style of art. You may find you like it better. Great advice there, and I wanted to make sure I got that in here somewhere, that there are lots of different styles. And sometimes the style that people are pursuing may be a very difficult style. But you gotta understand, there's more than one fish in the sea. There's more than one style of art, and you may be pursuing a style that is not a good fit for you if it's causing you to hate drawing in general. Maybe you would be better off doing something a little more cartoony, a little more stripped down, a little more playful. This is just an example. I don't know for sure what style would be giving you frustrations versus some other style, but consider the possibility that your whole goal that you're chasing is maybe giving you frustrations, and that there are other goals. There are other artistic goals that you could be pursuing. And I've said this before, I'll say it one more time, not linger on it too long, but, look at drawing styles like The Simpsons, or Diary of a Wimpy Kid, or South Park, right? These are very bold styles that are they're deliberately simplistic looking, but instantly memorable. There's so many different styles, and hyper-realism or whatever is certainly not always going to be the goal. Anyway, let us move on to number 9. This is a long one. I had to do a double piece of paper here for this one. From Squirrels Are Great. Aren't they, though? Number 9. When I hate my drawing, I don't want to throw it away immediately. Sometimes I try to do something unexpected with it. For example, if I don't feel happy with a pencil drawing, I try to use it as a possibility to go crazy with colors I probably wouldn't use. I thought this was really interesting, as, you know, a drawing that feels like it's failing is an opportunity for experimentation. And if you feel like you have nothing to lose and this drawing looks kind of terrible to you, that's maybe a good time to do something bold and weird and wacky that you would never have tried before. You're free, really, to start experimenting in a very daring way. And as they said, color, you know, you might say, here, let me try using, here's my chance to test out some colors that I don't normally use. I thought that was very wise, and certainly before you crumple it up, consider the possibility that you've got, you've got the opportunity to start being a mad scientist and trying some really daring, interesting stuff that you've never tried before. I'm coming up now to the very last of what I call the core questions, the main 10, the more sort of serious-minded questions. There will be a lightning round in just a moment, but let's go ahead and get to this last one from Cheerful Jonsku. Jonsku, I don't really know the pronunciation. Here, when I feel like my work isn't progressing, it is usually because I haven't done fundamental basics practices like drawing, anatomy, perspective, color theory, etc. So for me, to get out of it, I just practice the basics until I feel like drawing something more serious again. I put this last because I thought it's maybe, to my mind, the very finest of all the advice. Go back, practice the basics. If throwing down your pencil in frustration, maybe it is time for you to go and, like, you want to practice drawing hands. Get, like I said, photo reference, drawing from other old masters' drawings. Devote yourself to practicing the fundamentals, studying perspective, all that good stuff. Maybe after you take a break, right? Like I said at the beginning, go back to the fundamentals. You can never have too much practice with that stuff. And so that brings us to the end of the core questions. I'm going to do as I have done lately in this type of video. I'm going to kick it into time-lapse to take this drawing to a much greater level of finish. And then we will be back with the lightning round. All right, well, I think I've got enough done now that we can go ahead and do these lightning round questions without fear of having an unfinished drawing at the end of the video. Sorry, this part is going to remain artistically blank, my friends. But let's go ahead and get into these lightning round questions. And a lot of them are sort of direct responses to what do you do with a drawing that is that you hate, that's not working out. What would you do to that drawing? And let's begin with Natasha Samuel. Rip it up and then burn it in the kerosene of my disappointed tears. I love that. That could be like the name of an album. The Kerosene of My Disappointed Tears. Or maybe a debut novel. I'm not sure, but I love that. This one from Annie Kirk 1. Sip a good hot cup of cider and get serious with erasing. I love the specificity here. Cider? It has to be a hot cup of cider. This is the important part of dealing with drawings that you're disappointed with. Here we are. IndieTube. I take it. Grab a flamethrower and watch it burn as I eat popcorn. I hope you don't really do that. That sounds potentially very, very harmful to the place you're living in. Let's move on now to KIYF. When your drawing is bad, give it to someone who can't draw and look at their amazement. It works every time. Now, there's something a little bit, I don't know, is this like ethical to like deliberately find someone who's not as good as you? I don't know, maybe it works. Maybe it works. Let's move on to Number 5, let's talk manga LTM. I chop my arms off in shame. Now, see, here's the thing. I can understand how you chop one arm off, but how do you chop that second arm off? Explain it to me. Do you use your feet? Because if you do, that's a talent. That's probably a marketable talent in some way. Razor, or is it just razor? I turn it to something else from its shape. Then, if I fail again, I bang my head to the wall. I love this one because it sort of starts off as like a legitimate comment, but then, if I fail, I bang my head to the wall. That also could be the name of your debut album. I bang my head to the wall. This one from Rebel Swag. I scrunch the bad drawing and slam dunk it in the bin like LeBron James. So this is another one of, like, you're practicing your skills. Maybe not your drawing skills, but you are practicing skills of some kind. Oh my goodness, we're already at number 8. I'm putting the lightning back into the lightning round. This one from Pure Demon. It's clear and simple. I add blushies, and it makes it 100 times better. See, this could have been a very short video. All I had to do is just say, add the blushies, folks, and you will improve your drawing no matter what it is. Number 9, from Filiberto Medaglia. I don't know if I got the pronunciation there. I scrap it and make my cat eat it. Totally not by force. He enjoys his weekly dose of paper, you know. Cats have rights. I think that's totally not by force. I don't know. I think you're protesting too much there. I'm imagining dangerous things going on with Filiberto and the cat and the eating of the scrap papers with pencil markings on them. But now we finally move on to number 10, a short but sweet comment, but this one, for whatever reason, I just loved it. It really made me laugh. This one from Shara Martinez. You take a step back and do a backflip out the window. I love that. I just visualizing that. I just love that comment. And I'm afraid that brings us to the end of this video. I hope you found it useful. I really did want to address the fairly serious topic here, and it's nice to be able to have some fun with it in the lightning round, but hopefully the more serious responses that we saw earlier will, at least make you feel you're not alone. If you feel sort of super disappointed with your own progress or whatever in terms of art, you're not the only one. We all feel that way at one time or another. Well, hang on a second. I'm going to go grab my books so that I can thank anyone who has supported me by getting them, like Brody's Ghost, my graphic novel, the longest single story I've ever done in the comic book world, the Realism Challenge, my book on drawing hyper-realistic illustrations, the Drawing Lesson, a graphic novel that teaches you how to draw, and my very latest book, Mastering Manga 3. Always super, super appreciative of anyone who helps me out by getting any of those books. But I think it's time for me to go ahead and wind down this video. I did want to point out, though, before I go, that this is indeed number 10 in an ongoing series of topic videos. I'm going to link to that playlist of all those videos brought together. If you enjoyed this, if you found that it was helpful in terms of gathering together various advice from different artists, by all means, check out the other videos in this series. I'm rather proud of the series. I think it has a lot of good things in it, and I certainly intend to keep doing more such videos in the months and years ahead. But let me go ahead and lay down this pencil. I want to thank you all for watching this video. I hope you found it helpful, and I'll be back with another one real soon.